Crazy F or How to Talk to Crazy People. A funny, moving, and altogether brilliant book on the challenges and peculiar insights of mental illness. Rather than simply describing a clinical condition, Donna Kakonge painstakingly evokes the complex language and thought patterns of what she deliberately calls craziness. The result is a book that will engage not only readers who have encountered, in personal terms, the challenges of mental illness, but also readers who wish to appreciate, in the broadest of ways, what is troubling and also beautiful about the human imagination itself. David Chiriandi, author of Sauciant, Governor General's Award finalist. A rare and honest account of mania, depression and psychosis. The book to read, if you want to understand the suffering of mentally ill persons and the raw courage that one woman can muster. Donna struggles financially, socially, sexually, and spiritually to find peace from the minions of hell that inhabit her mind. Catherine Tapley Milton, author of Mind Full of Scorpions. A poignant account of what it is like to live with a severe psychiatric illness. We see it vividly from the inside and truly sense how terrifying it can be to be psychotic. It is also a story of hope and optimism about what someone can achieve despite the continual setbacks, the oh so much longer time to accomplish the things that others do with a lot less effort, the inevitable loss of friends, money and often family. This should be read by all those who work in mental health and all those who don't. It will give you a glimpse not of how scary it is to talk to a crazy person, but how scared a crazy person is to talk to you. Anna Skorzewska, psychiatrist, University Health Networked mom, for being the best artist I know, and the most beautiful person I know, inside and out. To Dad for growing into such a fantastic father, man and neighbor, and thank you for helping me to grow up, too. Crazy talk. It's my last year of high school at Stephen Leacock Collegiate in Scarborough, Ontario. My friend Gino and I sit on a bus on our way to downtown Toronto. A man boards the bus and immediately screams at the passengers standing in the bus aisle, who he thinks deliberately block his path. "He has 999. Exclaims Gino. "He has 999? What does that mean?" I ask. "It means he is crazy," Gino says. "He is from 999 Queen Street, a psychiatric hospital at the time, and he is a loon." I sit quietly and fidget with my hands. I stare at the man's facial tics, and listen and dash tentally to his babble about spies. And the devil coming? And the end of the world? The following pages contain my voice and my own babble through 16 breakdowns over a 5.5-year period. I ask that you please read, learn and understand what it is truly like to live a crazy life. 1 St. Mike's Hospital. The sounds of loud WHIRS, clangs and chimes force open my eyes. My mind stirs like a dropped rag. I cannot move my body. My chest, my waist and my legs are strapped to a gurney. I am in an ambulance. I raise my head and peer forward. Sky and hydro lines rush past. I see the black hair of the driver beside a brown-haired person in the passenger seat. A red-haired man sits beside me. "When was the last time you ate?" he asks. My eyes dart to the word paramedic on his arm badge. It feels as though pricks of nail and scratch my brain. "What is the last thing you remember?" he continues. I stare at his blue uniform. "Do you know what day it is?" he asks. I look up at the net of first aid kits suspended above me, then shut my eyes to block out the paramedic. The frantic movement of the ambulance comes to a stop. A pause, a jerk, and then down, lower rush to precisely where? I keep my eyes shut, and feel the gurney wheel over a smooth surface. Stillness. I am alone. Tears slip from beneath my closed eyelids. I feel a prick in my arm and open my eyes, to see a plastic and steel tower beside me. And 4 is in me. A jungle of noise surrounds me. I lie on the gurney. I lie on the gurney. I lie on the gurney. My mind screeches shriller than a dog, and moves a whole lot faster than the fluid in the foredrip. I go over the questions asked in the ambulance. I don't remember the last time I ate. But it must have been saag paneer from my favorite restaurant around the corner from where I live in Little India. I eat saag paneer, made of spinach and cheese curds, every day. The last thing I remember is lying on my futon, surrounded by blood, wet and cold. I thought I was the Virgin Mary, and that my stillborn baby Jesus had passed through me. It must have been menstrual blood. I must have passed out. I know it is October of 1995. I look up at the nurse station close to where my gurney lies in the hallway. Even without my wire-rimmed glasses, I can see the calendar on the wall. It is October 23rd. Why am I in the hospital? People in white and light blue uniforms rush back and forth around me. Why am I in the hospital? I shout at them. They keep rushing. Why am I in the hospital? I lower my voice this time. They keep rushing. Why am I in the hospital? I shout again. They sprint past me. No one stops to answer my question. After the 10th time, I feel fragile, exhausted, worthless. I stand up and rip the 4 out of my arm. My legs can still propel me. Wearing a light blue hospital gown, I stride through a bright red exit. I look around outside. I am at St. Mike's Hospital on Queen Street. The Bay retail store is southwest. I know I live east. I walk in that direction. Evil eyes are on me. I feel rage. A horn honks a violent blare. I panic. I glance over and see my dad driving his orange Lotto with my brother in the passenger seat. They yell. Come inside, Donna. Come inside? I keep walking, strutting. Each angry, hateful step takes me towards home. No. The tough chipped sidewalk trips me up, crossing cars break my path and my dad jumps out and pushes me into his Lada. I scream. I yell. I fight. I am back at St. Mike's. Inside 4 metallic gray walls, I lie on a bed, and look at hell on the floor where shellacked white tiles join. I feel disjointed. I think about my favorite poster, the one I bought when I was at Carleton University, where I graduated from journalism on June 17, 1994. That poster, one of the few on the walls of my small apartment, where my $450 rent is soon due, is a picture of 4 black men, wearing 1940s hats, standing around a pool table. One of them holds a cue. I look at the heavy gray steel door that faces me. Where is my cue to leave? I scream, I yell, I pray, no response. I hear only my voice. Where is my knight in shining armor? Only the fluorescent squares on the ceiling shed any light. The doctors come. I know they are doctors, because they wear white coats. 2 of them enter the room. Do you know how long you've been in this state? One of them, a man, asks. I am not in any state. I just need to get out of here. We can't release you until you calm down. Calm down? I am perfectly calm. My mind rages. My thoughts race. My insides churn. I must think quickly, in order to get myself out of here. Do you realize that you've been screaming for an hour? The other one, a woman, asks. She stands beside the man doctor, both of them white ivory like ready to pierce me. Don't they realize I scream because they detaining me against my will? I don't want to be here. I have committed no crime. I have committed mistakes, yes, but no crime. I want to be home, in my little apartment. I want to drink wine and listen to say tapes. I am a peaceful person. I meditate every day. I jog 6 times a week. What am I doing here? I stay in the room for what feels like days. I don't know how long. The security guard outside the door keeps looking at me strangely. What is he looking at? He is the strange one. Doesn't he understand? This is a national emergency. I have to get out of this room, because the women are coming to get me. Princess Diana, Oprah Winfrey, Princess Toro? All those fine, beautiful women are coming to get me to join their group. I'm going to be part of the Gifted 10. 10 powerful, strong women who will rule the world and save it from imminent disaster. They need to release me from this holding cell so I can reign back in Uganda. There I will be a princess, one of the Gifted 10. Haven't any of them ever read W.E.B. Du Bois? The African-American writer and philosopher who believed that, when it comes to humans, there is an extraordinary 10% who will rule the world. My dad is really Ugandan dictator Idi Amin. He changed his name and identity, and fled to Canada to escape his atrocities. I need to go back to Uganda, to rule, to be part of the world's ruling elite. It has been a cover-up for many years. I grew up thinking my father was a newspaper delivering PhD who drank too much. All along he was really Idi Amin in hiding. In Canada, he held a reign of terror over our family instead of a country. But I never knew who he really was. Honestly, officer, I didn't. But now that I know the truth, now that I have finally figured everything out, I can right the wrongs that he has done. If the hospital will only release me, I can return to Uganda and be its ruler. Everything is silent when I see a white lab coat, glasses, white skin and brown hair enter the room. My black eyes clash with his green eyes. He opens his mouth. So do I. When I am getting out of here. When you calm down. He looks down at his brown clipboard. I want to call my lawyer. You have a lawyer? Get me the fuck out of here. The doctor is so close to the door, the back of his lab coat kisses it. You had a psychotic break. He says. We think you are schizophrenic. I twist my wrists inside the brown leather straps that shackle me to the bed. I clench my right hand empty. Where is my spear to pierce his ivory skin? Then I see the back of his head, and the heavy metal door closes. Silence. Shit. Get me the fuck out of here. I need to go home. I need to go home. I need to go to my home. I need to go home. I hear only the sound of my voice. I cry. Eventually, I sleep. I awake when I hear a bang. A black woman in a white lab coat, with slick black hair to her chin, walks in. She carries a tray. Are you hungry, dear? Yes. I murmur. She places the tray on a table beside the hospital bed. I sit up and look at the food: an apple, an orange, a box of orange juice, and under a round, translucent plate cover, something that looks like chicken with hot vegetables that were definitely once frozen. We look and smile stiffly at each other. My stomach clenches audibly. GR? I look into her brown eyes. Thank you. She touches my kinky black hair. The same hair I usually tend, as vigilantly as I tend the aloe plants on the huge veranda outside my second-floor apartment. You should really do something with your hair, she suggests. She touches her straight hair. I touch my kinky hair. I like mine natural. I plan to keep it like this no matter what. I eat fast, in the nurse's presence, in my hospital cell. The nurse leaves. I stay. Constance, I know I am in trouble when they won't let me leave. It's my third day in the hospital. I stood, as tall as the waistband of the light blue slacks my mother wore around the house when I was last in the hospital. I want to be home. When I was 9 and 10 years old, I would run and jump on a blue steel jungle gym with my brother and sister and my friends on Sunday mornings, while my mother was inside the church with her friends. When I was even younger, I spent a year learning how to play the organ with a brown-haired male cherub, who gently encouraged me when I made mistakes. Go, Donna. Go. I want you to be able to play the organ in the church choir. My mother coaxed me before each lesson. After I graduate from Carleton University, I work in Ottawa, moved to Toronto, then moved back to Ottawa, and no one has time for me, not even my boyfriend, who is finishing up his final year of journalism school. When the loneliness and silence choke me like a movie director's scarf, a friend gives me the phone number for a tarot card counselor. I take a chance. I desperately need to speak to someone. I call the number. Hello? I say. Hello. A deep voice responds. Is this Donna? Fear almost makes me scream. How did you know my name? I was expecting you to call. This is Constance? Yes? She says nothing more. I was hoping you could help me. I hesitate. I mean, I was hoping I could come speak with you. It costs $300. I shrug. I have the money. Okay. Can I come tomorrow? Be here at 7 p.m. I live at 43 Bronson Avenue. The next morning at 8, I am in downtown Ottawa with a colleague, shooting high-8 video footage for an African-Canadian film, to be presented at a video festival. I don't look at my watch until that night. It is almost 7. Should I go? I ask myself. I go to the washroom first and pee. As I wash my hands, I look at my eyes in the mirror. The whites are bright red, just as they were in the morning. I grabbed some brown paper towels, dry my hands, and hail a taxi to take me to 43 Bronson Avenue. It is 7:05 p.m. when I arrive at Constance's house. I am late. I don't even really know why I am here. As I turn to leave, the door opens. Donna? An Indian man stands before me. I nod. Constance is inside. Come. The walls are painted beige. A brown leather sofa sits at the far end of the room. Spectacular photographs of Dhaka, Bangladesh line one wall. On another, I recognize photos of Moscow, Beijing, Buenos Aires and New York from my favorite travel show on TV. Constance is seated at a small, round IKEA table. She stares at a chair opposite her and I sit down. She moves her hand to the left and turns on a small Panasonic CD player. I recognize the sounds of wind chimes, soft techno piano and ahhing as new age music. I feel a pinch calmer. Would you like some wine? I nod. White or red? Red? I almost shout. My core feels hollow. Constance wears a black and orange sari. Her long hair falls like a dark blanket from the top of her petite frame to her waist. I look down and see her bare feet in beige leather sandals. While Constance is in the kitchen pouring the wine, and the man watches Wheel of Fortune from the sofa, I reach out and touch the multicolored paisley tablecloth. Vibrating with light reflected from the candlesticks, the colors white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, brown and purple all dance and touch in a party on the tabletop. Constance reappears. She sits quickly and places a glass of red wine in front of her. She places an identical glass of wine in front of me. She raises a set of bronze chimes I hadn't noticed before and rings them. Her eyes are pot black. I do not do this all of the time. Constance declares. I'm actually a lawyer. I just do this when people need help. I keep my eyes on the tablecloth. I wish I was out dancing. She opens a wooden box and gathers a Rider-Waite deck of tarot cards from inside. She hands them to me. I take them. Think of your questions while you shuffle. I shuffle the cards. On one card, a woman, the High Priestess, looks like Constance. She fascinates me. On another card, a man, The King of Pentacles reminds me of my dad. The nude woman on the Nine of Pentacles reminds me of myself. So do the images on the Nine of Swords and the Three of Wands. Constance deals out cards. I see that you are not happy with your job. You do? Yes. You do not like it, but another job is coming soon. Someone you met over the summer is coming back into your life and a man will lead this woman to you. She deals out more cards. You are cheating on your boyfriend? My brown skin flushes red. No, I'm not. You are. She insists. I see a man that you are spending a lot of time with. Yes, perhaps no sex, but you love him. I can't think of anything to say. His name is Jack. I work with him. He also works for the government. Do not tell your boyfriend. She orders. He will break up with you. I was going to tell him. I whisper. We have always been honest with each other. Honesty is for children. You are not a child. My first thought is stupidity. But I continue to listen. Constance tells me to imagine white light around me. She gives me the names of 2 books to read, Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, and Sanaya Roman's Spiritual Growth. I already have a book by Sanaya Roman, Personal Power Through Awareness. I have never read it. A black female therapist I saw, while I was in my 2nd year of university, recommended it. Leaning towards me from the other side of the small table, Constance tips the cards back into the wooden box. You should meditate, she says. Do you know how to meditate? I stare at the wooden box, feeling sad that the pretty pictures are gone. What is that? It is when you keep completely still, and you do not think about anything. She shifts her body. You keep your feet flat on the floor, you close your eyes and you imagine that white light surrounds you. You imagine that white light is emanating from you and flowing out all around you. This is how you recreate yourself, as an empty vessel, so the positive forces from the higher world can enter you. This way you can channel? Channel? Yes, channel. Everything I do is channeling, she explains. I receive all of my guidance from my highest level of guides. Her voice becomes lighter, and hits my ears like a bubble, then pops. Your highest level guides will direct you in everything that you do? Is this like prayer? Constance looks grim. I do not believe in one God. I believe in the universe. I believe that everything happens through the Almighty of the universe, and we are all directed through our highest level of guides, if we hold clear energy. You need to lighten your energy? Constance tells me that I too can learn to channel, and become a psychic, so that I can answer my own questions. I buy many books after the first 2. I begin to meditate every day and become a vegetarian like Constance. I want to be just like her. Constance is the happiest person I know. Back to Toronto, I follow all of Constance's instructions, and 1 month later I accept a job offer in Toronto. I am back at the CBC, as a diversity journalist for radio and TV. I work 9 to 5, then catch the 506 streetcar, that takes me east to the corner of Gerrard and Ashdale in Little India. Home, a studio apartment with a flat green carpet, a shower stall without a tub, a kitchen with a hot plate and a beer-size fridge, and off the kitchen, a balcony bigger than the entire apartment. I change from the long pastel-colored dress I wore to work into my beige sweatshirt and jogging tights. 6 times a week I jog. Before I leave, I strap a leather money purse around my waist and stuff $20 and my driver's license inside one of the pockets. I use the $20 to buy a bottle of Woodbridge red wine while I am out. Every night, I start drinking as soon as I am back from my run. Every night, I finish the bottle, drinking from dollar store wine glasses. Only once do I wonder why I don't simply chug from the bottle. But drinking from a glass is what my sister calls brought up, see? Every night, I drink and practice reading the Rider-Waite tarot cards. On work nights, I go to bed no later than 11 p.m. I break up with my boyfriend Noel. Or rather, he breaks up with me when he reads my journal and finds out about Jack. I send Constance questions and money, and she tells me that a King of Wands will enter my life. I imagine that a man I work with at the CBC, my soulmate, will help me make it to the top of the ladder of success. Over the next year, I spend a lot of money on long-distance phone calls to Constance. I call to ask her questions about every aspect of my life. What should I wear? Where should I live? I ask about coworkers. I present Constance with a name and she tells me about that person from the name alone. This information helps me decide who I will and who I will not spend time with. My diversity journalist contract with the CBC is to end in September. I sit in meetings with the feeling of having digested rancid popcorn. Okay Donna, what are your ideas for tomorrow morning's show? My boss asks. Cold and strange stares are thrown like darts at the heart of my eyes. Well, I fixate my attention on something to distract myself. The white moonstone ring on the fourth finger of my left hand needs to be turned. There is a powwow going on and I am cut off. We've done that before? Days, weeks, months, same thing. I call Constance. Do you think they are going to continue my contract? They will, they will. She breathes into the phone from Ottawa. You can stay at the CBC forever, if you so choose. The rancid popcorn feeling in my stomach eases. Angels on the ceiling, if I kill the doctors, can I plead insanity? They keep asking me such silly questions. How long are you going to keep me locked up here? I scream at them. Until you calm down. They answer. They will not even tell me why I am being kept locked up. All I've been told is that they think I am schizophrenic. What does that mean, anyway? I spoke to Constance last Friday. She told me to write a list of all my wants and then to cut the list into squares, so that each of my wants is on a separate piece of paper. Then, she said, go into a meditation and burn all the pieces. This will make all your wants come true. It sounds like a witch's trick to me, and I know that Constance is into witchcraft. I decide to give it a try. I need the supplies first, so I go on a shopping spree. I buy a gold pen, scissors and paper, a cup to burn the pieces of paper in and a foldable wooden table with square designs. I am left with only $100 in my bank account. My rent is due and no paycheck is coming. I go home with all this stuff and write all my wants on a piece of paper. I want a successful career as a television and radio diversity producer. I want a beautiful man to enter my life, and for us to have a deep, passionate relationship. I want a big, spacious, beautiful apartment with low rent, as soon as possible, with lots of privacy. If you work fast, things will come fast. My high-level guides tell me. I cut my list of wants into small squares. I turn on the stereo that I received from my mother for graduating from high school and insert a cassette of Gregorian chants. At my new wooden table, I light white candles with matches from my favorite Indian restaurant, then pull out a stick of the Promised Land incense I bought at the Eaton Center, light the tip and softly place it in the holder. I pick up 2 small brass bells joined by a thin black rope, clash them together and ask for my high-level guides to assist me in my meditation. I burn the squares of paper and I meditate. I meditate for days. I do not eat. I drink only water. I hope to achieve a higher spiritual awareness. I want to open up all my chakras. I want my failing eyesight to be restored. I want a miracle to happen, for the Creator to prove His existence to me. In the silence of my apartment, I lie on the futon and gently sing a line from John Lennon's song. Imagine all of the people living life in peace. I look up at the yellow walls of my kitchen, and see a hazy figure with long wisps of hair to the shoulders and shadowy white smoke skin. Glasses appear around holes in the smoke that look like eyes. He joins me and sings. You may say I am a dreamer. But I am not the only one. I hope someday you will join us. And the world will live as one. I know that in my state of super-awareness I connect to all other human beings, who live as Constance does. I think about people like her who are free and easy, fulfilling their dreams, who have money and independence, and still do good work that helps others. The smoke shifts to longer spirals of hair, a slighter body and long fingers. Janis Joplin sings. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. The smoke shifts again. A fuller body. Hair soft and ruffled like frilly yellow panties. Half-closed eyes and full lips lean toward me and say, imperfection is beauty, madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. Marilyn Monroe, I think, as I gawk at the fading image. I think my eyes may roll to the back of my head. The smoke turns blood red. It fills my vagina, ejaculates over the walls and streams down like rain. The inner walls of my vagina bleed. I feel a push from low in my stomach to the end of my root chakra. By Saturday at least, I think it is Saturday, I dream that I am sending light to a mediation meeting on the Quebec referendum. The mediators come dancing in the streets to thank me for sending this light that will help keep Canada together. They want to take me out of bed and have me dance too. I believe my new network of friends and my soulmate from the CBC are among them. I go to my window and talk to the crowd. The masses of people are holding my soulmate down because it's too early to consummate our marriage. I go outside to the balcony and sit on my meditation chair. The rush of voices from below fills my head. Naked, I open my arms to them. I hold them in the air for 3 moments and then, in an instant, I place them on my lap and close my eyes. I meditate for peace and happiness. The birds chirp with me just as they do on the 9 of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. The doctors force me out of my small room to a bed on the psychiatric ward. My father comes to visit me, smelling high of cologne. He tells me that I must look only at the last 2 years to explain my breakdown. This is what I call it, my breakdown. He tells me that he once had a nervous breakdown too, at 16, when he attended boarding school. He tells me that his late brother Jack also had a breakdown. My father is like the King of Pentacles reversed, he is always manipulating me. When he last visited, I had my shamanic drumming tape on and was mind traveling. Energy, a spirit, comes through me. I am Firen. She says. You are an orphan, adopted by your parents. I'm your real mother. I died on the day of your birth. My stomach feels full for a moment and I pick at my hair with fingers wrinkled at the joints, just like my mother, my adopted mother. My mind is confused. I had a dream, when I was young, that my mother had a twin, another woman who looked exactly like her, and although my mother is beautiful, the dream frightened me awake. My mother once told me that we were in a car crash in Uganda, when I was a baby. I was asleep in the car. My father was driving. She had to pick glass out of my hair. I connect this with all the times my father took my brother, sister and me on the highway and drove the way they do on the Dukes of Hazzard. I think of the stories my cousin told me about my paternal grandmother. Grandma would go digging at 4 in the morning. I dig deeper, deeper, tunneling through my mind, and resolve that my grandmother was trying to kill her children. That is why she went digging. I connect this thought to explain why my father always fought with my mother. He was secretly afraid that women were trying to kill him. After a while I realized that my breath is the only thing that keeps me alive. I hear my father at the door. A miracle has happened. He has come to apologize for all the things he has done. I believe my father raped my mother. There is a scar on her belly. It must be from him trying to butcher her. I think he slept with the Jamaican babysitter I had as a child. I think he slept with my aunt when she lived with us after arriving from Uganda. My father has always had a brothel of women, and he might very well be the father of all of my aunt's children. Maybe that is why he disliked her so much, not because he held her responsible for the death of his brother Jack in Uganda. I am scared whenever I hear my father at the door. He wants me to go crazy. Release the doctors keep their promise. I stay in the hospital until I calm down. It takes a week. My mother and my sister, 3 years younger than me, come and pick me up. They do not understand what has happened to me. I don't understand either. We agree that on December 1st I will move to my mother's house in Markham, where my sister and brother live too. For now, until the end of November, they take me back to my apartment. Circles of red blood stain the flat green carpet, and the Aztec design of my duvet cover jagged black, red and cream lines on a copper background is broken by slashes of blood. A stain, as big as the sun from a distant view, darkens the middle of my futon, and smashes of black soot smudge the kitchen walls, the aftermath of my burned paper, my burned wants. I feel someone at the door, before I hear the rumble of knuckles against wood. I peer through the peephole and see a distorted image of my father. "What do you want?" I shout through the door. "I have money to give you for your last month's rent." I open the door, and before he can enter I pull the money from his cracked white-brown hands and quickly push the door closed. I wait to hear him leave. My eyes are watery. I creep to the door of my large balcony, and peek out to make sure that he leaves. Noticing that my aloe plants are dying, I pick up the white plastic watering can, and fill it with cold water at the sink, then step outside to water them. "Donna?" I hear a voice call from below. "You are back home?" I look down over the side of the balcony at the 5'7", black-haired man who, as of December 1st, will no longer be my landlord. "Donna." He repeats my name. "It is a wonder you are alive. I watched everything. You could have died." In anger I throw down the money my father just gave me. "I am leaving December 1st, Mario. Before I move at the end of November, I break down again. This time the doctors diagnose bipolar affective disorder. They put me on lithium, a mood stabilizer, and risperidone, an antipsychotic drug. In early December, I settle into my mom's home. Every morning, after I shower and brush my teeth, I reach into the mirrored vanity for 2 lithium tablets and 1 risperidone tablet, then release them, like freed prisoners, into the toilet. New Year, I am back to the darkness. The idiotic red carpet is still here in the basement of my mother's house, a large space I had all to myself as a teenager. Back then I could stand the darkness, but I slept a lot and was always very moody anyway. The walls of the bedroom are still painted white. A small window, about the size of a picture, meets the ceiling line. The poster of a peacock hangs over the headboard of my old double mattress bed. The large Michael Jackson postcard with the King of Pop standing in front of a gold background, which I got at McDonald's when I was 14, hangs to the right of my dresser. Made of white painted wood, the dresser holds the few clothes that still fit me after I have lost so much weight. Other old clothes hang in the closet like the skeleton my frame has become. My mother encourages me to eat, but I keep my mouth shut. I meditate every day in front of my mother's house. I sit on a small plastic garden chair with a Sony CD Walkman in my hands and headphones, which one of my former bosses at the CBC gave me, over my ears. Listening to Whitney Houston's Exhale. I let out a soft shoop and hum to the music. I feel a presence beside me and I am riveted back to a state of fear. "What are you doing?" Mom asks as she takes out the garbage. Meditating. I spit out. Sounds foolish to me? On Christmas Eve day, I take public transit downtown to the Onega bookstore in Yorkville.